joined by Maddie SIEGRIST, Natasha Howard, and Coach TRAMMELL. If you have questions on the Zoom, raise the hand function. Otherwise, we'll start in person.
Coach, what are your takeaways from tonight's game? What are some of the positives? Let's focus on that.
Oh, I love you. Let's go. Well, 5 players scored in double figures for the 3rd time in the last 6 games. Multiple 20-point scores for the 4th time in the last 5 games. Enrique, 23 points, 10 points away from franchise record. Maddie, double-digit points for first time since returning from injury, game-high rebounds. Tasha, 6 20-point game of the year. Kept them, when one of our goals was defensive transition, we kept them under their average on fast break points. The points in the paint, which was huge, but the threes got us. The 16 made threes, shooting 55%. We knew that they were great shooters and scorers coming in, but got to do a better job of that in our next game.
Asia, go ahead.
Hi, Howard. I was just going to ask you, I know you scored 21 points tonight. You were playing really good offense from what I saw. But what would you say was the biggest, struggle against that defense today?
Against New York defense?
Yes.
I want to say, New York, they play good defense, but with us, you got to kind of keep keeping the ball moving on both sides of the front, like how they did us on defense. We got to put them in rotation. But my thing is, we put ourselves in a predicament New York didn't, so,
Thank you.
It's for all of y'all. How fun
Yes.
is it to watch Satu play against her sister, and what is some of that trash talk between them like?
Well, what's interesting about that, funny maybe to some, but when we were in New York, and her sister came in, she saw 2 off the bounce and was an and 1. And so there's a little trash there, so I guess saw 2 return the favor tonight. But it's, they obviously they love each other, but it's always fun. And what an incredible thing to say that both sisters are playing in the WNBA. I mean, that's a lot of respect there.
This is for actually coach and the players. I wanted to ask just about the challenges of Breanna Stewart, everything she brings, coaching against her and playing against her, either player and coach.
Maddie.
Obviously she's a great player.
Yeah.
She makes really tough shots look easy, and I think that's when you're playing against somebody great. So you just try to slow her down the best we can. 9 for 18, that's not bad against her. She could easily have 40. So, just trying to slow her down.
well, I played with her in Seattle, so
Yep.
I know what Stewart can bring day in and day out. So we try to make it hard for her. I try to make it hard for her, but she's a little bit taller than me. She has a longer arm, so. But at the end of the day, she gonna get hurt regardless, no matter what. If you put a good defender on her, but Maddie said, she's a good overall player.
Yeah, anything that I've heard, from even what Sandy has said. One, she's a great leader, a great teammate. I remember her telling me once she's, talks about being calm as a cucumber. You know what I mean? Doesn't get too riled up, just plays solid. But one of my favorite players in the league.
Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, this question's for Maddie. From a confidence standpoint, how do you feel about your performance, having a strong performance off the bench and showing what you were able to do before the injury?
Yeah, I don't think confidence is something that preparation, comes from preparation, and I put myself in the position, to do the best I can every single night, and I'm going to continue to do that, whether it's, whatever amount of time it is, whatever situation, whatever team, I'm just going to do the best I can and, rely on my preparation.
Anything else for Coach first?
Yeah, at this point of the season, what are you guys looking for as far as moving on to next year? What are you looking? Is there certain things you look for as far as the locker room, just certain plays, or you trying new plays or things like that? What type of things go on around this time of year?
Well, it's only my second year, so I can't tell you too much. But for me, just you want to just finish strong, continue to do the best you can. I think every time you have the opportunity to play basketball, you want to give it your all because especially learning this year, and I'm sure Tosh could speak on it too with injuries. Like you don't know how many games you're gonna play, so you always want to just take it and do the best you can. And I thought we played really hard tonight, which is that's a win. But moral victories they don't get you too far.
Natasha, I was curious, with the season, the playoffs out of the question now, what's kind of been your message to younger players, just to finish strong, resiliency type message?
Just finish strong. Work on the things that you need to work on, the things that you're already good at. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, like this is the opportunity for the players that don't really get a lot of playing time to actually show what they can actually do. Build onto that for the next season.
And I want to say this too, if you don't mind, if I can say something. I thought Jaylen Brown did really well, and playing, I thought she defended Stewie well, and then taking it in the nose again, was a little, went back to the bench and her eyes are watering, and that she's already had that, surgery on her nose. But I got to give her a lot of credit. She just stayed ready, and I thought she did a really good job. So I definitely wanted to mention her.
Asia, go ahead.
Coach, I was just going to
Yes.
ask you, just looking back throughout the whole entire season, what are a couple or the biggest positive things that you could take away from this whole entire season?
I think for me, Maddie really stepping up at the very beginning, to be honest. Getting that, maybe those minutes that she might not have gotten. So just, if you want to see a positive out of injuries as much as that we had, just that connection that I have with her early on, and then seeing her just progress and always staying ready. I think that is one of the positives that I just to see her succeed, because I know she wants it bad.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.